12 tribes?
12 tribes, yeah. 12 tribes worldwide. Respect.
Anyone that wants to be counted as one of the tribes, I'm down with.
Yeah, we're the true Israelites.
You've got your work stacked against you these days.
Yeah, of course.
Big time.
Yeah.
My family are Israelites from Israel.
Okay.
They have been there for at least, well, as you know, the history of the destruction of the temples and whatnot.
Yeah.
At least 250 years, solidly.
Okay. And where's your family originally from?
Well, they're originally from the land of Judea. They're
from Judea?
Yeah.
That's where they go back
as
to?
all Jews are.
Okay. But not all
but
of them
this
are.
is something where I'm sure that this is something that you and I will not see eye to eye.
Yeah, because those people in the land of Israel, they're not the actual biblical Jews. Not all of them. Some of them are.
Yeah, but this is what I will have issue with you guys on, because essentially you will tell me about something that for generations upon generations I've been educated.
I'm not saying that this is what they've done, and this is what we know. We understand and we know this. When you've raised to believe that you're something, you're not going to believe that you're anything else, because just like you said, for generations and generations you've been raised to believe that. But what I'm saying to you is that...
How many generations have you been 12 tribes of Israel?
We have just recently found out that we are Israelites.
In terms of your mental recognition of that. I don't mean...
15 years. 15 years. We found out that we are the Israelites. How did we find out? Through the Bible.
I'm sorry to have interrupted.
No, you're not interrupting. That's fine.
I've been here for at least 6 weeks and I've been wanting to do this.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm actually going for a trip.
That's fine. That's fine.
We do go for trips.
That's fine. But what I'm saying to you is that we understand who the Israelites are through the Bible prophecies. The only way you know who the Israelites are today, not through DNA, because no one can trace their DNA to the 12 sons of Jacob, which are the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel. The only way you know who the Israelites are today is through Bible prophecy, through the prophecies that Moses left in the Bible, and through the prophecies through the prophets of Jeremiah, Isaiah, Joel. That's the only way you're going to know. So when you go into the Bible and you look at the prophetic prophecies to say where these people are going to be in the last days and what was going to happen to them, that's how we know who we are. So when the Bible tells us that the Israelites are going to go into slavery by ships, and they're going to be sold to their enemies as bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall free them.
Yes.
That's prophetic.
I understand why the 12 tribes of Israel recognize those passages as prophetic for their, and I'm talking about black Hebrews, Hebrew Israelites, 12 tribes.
Yeah. Because Israelites,
and I see that where the relevance and pertinence of that particular passage is for you, and I don't deny it, but I don't think it denies the others.
I didn't say, this is what I'm saying to you. Listen to me carefully. This is what I'm saying to this. We are not saying some of those people in the land of Israel are not Israelites. We never declare that. We believe that some of those people, especially amongst the Sephardic Jews, are Israelites in Israel. We believe that.
But there's a particular notion that discredits Ashkenazi Jews.
Oh, because they're not.
And it talks about the Khazars,
but
as you know about this one, right?
Absolutely.
And what this particular notion hangs its hat on is that the Khazars are furriers. They dedicate themselves to the fur trade. And this was a roaming peoples that were looking for a denomination to follow.
That's right.
And by virtue of the fact that they made fur in the same way as Orthodox Ashkenazi Jews made fur, means that they were not originally 12 tribes, and they assumed that religion. That's not a strong enough argument for me.
No, that's fine. Maybe not for you.
When you go back...
What I was going to say to understand who the Khazars are, you've got to understand who they are biblically, right? Who these people are biblically. So the Khazars actually go back to the sons and daughters of Esau. They go back to the tribe of Amalek, the Amalekites. Now, how do we know who the Khazars are, that these people are not the actual biblical Jews? One is because they practice a thing called Judaism. Judaism is not biblical. The Jews in Israel study out of a book called the Babylonian Talmud, or the Jerusalem Talmud. Some of them also use the Torah and the Tanakh, but their main book of studying is from the Babylonian Talmud or the Jerusalem Talmud, which is not biblical. These were books that were written by sages that they used to study at to explain to
They
them
all
what the
use
Bible.
the Torah.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying they didn't. I said they use
You
the
said
Torah
some
as well.
of them use the. Some of them don't use the Torah. They just use the Talmud.
Now, as the main book as studying is the Talmud, but they use the Torah as well
Yes.
and the Tanakh. But
Yes.
the main book of studying is the actual Babylonian Talmud and the Jerusalem Talmud, which is what they use.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the Khazars, how do we know that the Khazars are actually not the people of the book? So once again, we go into Bible prophecy.
They're not. I agree with you.
Yeah.
They're not.
Because that's right. They
But that
are.
doesn't trace the entire descendancy of Ashkenazi
No,
Jews.
and I'm going to go there as well. So, Ashkenazi Jews. There's no such thing as a Ashkenazi Jew. Do you know who Ashkenaz is? He's a son of Japhet.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
so but we are not Japhet. We are Shem. Japhet's another
But
son.
we're talking, I think
So-
these two
so do you know-
denominations.
I know, but do you know why they call
refer
themselves
to-
Ashkenaz? Because they lived in the land of Ashkenaz, which is what we know today as Germany. That's why, because that land, what we know today as Western Europe,
Yes.
that land was given to the sons of Japhet. This is why they call themselves Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz is the son of Gomer. Gomer is the son of Japhet. So Ashkenaz is Japhet's grandson and Noah's great-grandson. The Jews that are in Israel today that call themselves Jewish, they come from the line, the majority of them come from the line of Shem. They are Shemites, not Semit. They're not Semitic, they are Shemitic. Because the word Semitic is a made-up word.
Yeah, yeah.
The word is Shem.
Yeah.
They go back to Shem. So we're not
Yeah,
saying
it's the same way as Ethiopians.
no. Ethiopians, them are actually Hamites. They're not from Kush.
Okay.
They're converts as well. So what I'm trying to say is that they call themselves Ashkenaz when they're not actually Ashkenaz. They actually lived in the land of Ashkenaz. They are actually Shem. They are Hebrews. We're not denying that they're Hebrews.
Okay.
The people in Israel.
I'm just saying that in today's contemporary conversation, you'll find a lot of people on the side of the very fashionable pro-Palestinian.
No, that's fine. Because the
side
Palestinians
will jump on what you're saying now and be like, exactly.
No,
Right?
But I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to explain to you is that they call themselves Ashkenaz, but they're not actually Ashkenaz because they're not the sons of Japhet. They're the sons of Shem. They are Hebrew. The word Hebrew comes from the word.
Well, you're making my
Eva.
point, aren't you?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that they are Hebrew, but they're not Hebrew Israelites. They're not the children of Israel. They're Hebrew Edomites. They go back to Esau. Who is Esau? Esau is Jacob's brother.
Yes.
The firstborn.
Right.
That's who they are. The majority of those people that call themselves Jewish
But
are
they
actually
both come from Abraham.
absolutely 100%. Not denying that.
Yeah.
They come from Abraham, but they come from the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. Not Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob was the one that got the blessing. He took it from his brother Esau, because Esau was the elder one. He was meant to get it. He supplanted it. Remember, Jacob's name means to supplant. That's what his name means.
Have you been to Dimona?
No, never been there. Because
You know about Dimona,
of course, yeah, that's where the Hebrew Israelites that came from America that went
Well,
there.
the original founder, son, is a good friend of mine.
No,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They're very interesting people, and it's worth a visit.
and that's another thing I want to tell you as well.
Would you like to?
No, we can't go there. That's nothing. We're
Because
not.
the Messiah hasn't come.
Thank you. So you even know that.
Of course I know that, bro,
Okay,
because I've
and
been
that's why no one's meant
people,
to be.
you know,
no
of
one's
your
meant
ilk, like the Notoria Carter, who
No one's meant to be in the land until the Lord comes back, because
Yeah.
He is coming to gather His elect, the children of Israel, from the four corners of the world, and He is going to bring them back to the promised land.
Yeah.
And this is why the Bible says He's going to separate the sheep from the goat, because ultimately, the Lord's going to know who's Israel and who's not. So my point is that being an Israelite today, your color doesn't determine your nationality,
absolutely
Right.
correct.
and where you're born doesn't determine your nationality.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, so when we speak to people about who the Israelites are, we know who they are prophetically through the Bible. We
Yeah.
can say to 100% the Israelites are the descendants of the transatlantic slave trade and the Native American Indian tribes of North, South America, and Canada. We can show you that in the Bible and in secular history, but we also know the Israelites are scattered and mixed amongst the other nations. Because if I have a son with a so-called white woman, right, and my son marries a so-called white woman when he grows up, and his son does that, by the third and fourth generation, my son or my great-grandson is just going to look totally white.
Yeah, but the thing about discrediting white-looking Jews is that the funny thing is that throughout history they've never been considered white
because they never were white.
because they never were white.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so all of a sudden
That's
now
right, that's right.
the mainstream propaganda machine tells everybody it's a white brown oppressor dynamic and tries to simplify these things in everyone's mind, and it's not that.
Because what we have to understand about Israel, what's happened in Israel is that it was taken over by colonials, the British and the French.
Absolutely
they conquered
right.
the Middle East.
Absolutely. And who mashed up the colonialists? The Jews.
Yeah.
The Irgun.
Well, no, they fought the British.
They bombed the King David Hotel.
That's right, of course they did.
So the people that actually mashed up the colonialists were the Zionists.
Yeah.
So this idea that Zionism is Nazism is a fucking nonsense bullshit.
But you have to understand that Zionism is still colonialism because they have just done what the colonial. But they have because
it's not. Zionism is a belief in self-determination.
I know, but what I'm saying is that they have done the same thing that the colonialists did. They went into a land and took over it and claimed it as their own.
But it was a land that was colonized.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm saying they've just done what the colonialists have done, and
you're discrediting your own rhetoric.
No, I'm not, because we don't. Zionism is nothing to do with.
But you're saying that that land has nothing to do with you guys until the Mashiach comes.
Absolutely right. So we have no say in the land. We have no say in the land until he comes back. That's why I wouldn't go there or even try to go there. But we understand that what's happening in the land is what's going to bring us into World War III. We understand that through the Bible, that the war has to start in Israel. That's going to draw in the Iranians, the Arab nations, America. Russia's going to back the Arab nations. America's going to back Israel. This is why Netanyahu is holding out for Trump to come into power, because he knows that Trump will give him 100% backing. That's what's going to draw us into World War III, is the land right here. This is why you see what's going on. So, back to what we said before, nothing can stop these prophecies being fulfilled in terms of what's going to happen. In terms of who is a Jew and who's not, we know who the true Israelites are. Because remember, Jew just means you're from one tribe, the tribe of Judah. There are 12 tribes. Yeah. We know that right now in Israel, they just say that they're Yehuda. If you ask them where the other tribes, they'll say they don't know. Because the whole 12 tribes are going to be brought home. Right now, the people in the land today, they literally just say that they're Yehuda. They say that they're actually from the tribe of Judah. They don't know.
You're talking about Beit Israel, right?
Yeah, all of those, all
the lost tribes.
Yeah, the rest, that's right.
There's plenty all over Africa. West Africa.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Ivory Coast.
That's where all the slaves came from, West Africa. Yeah. Right? But my point is that today, we know that these are the 12 tribes, but we also know that they are scattered and mixed amongst the nations. So we know for a fact that some Israelites will look Chinese, some will look Japanese, because of the scattering. We can never say to anyone, if someone approached me and claims to be an Israelite, I can't say to you, oh, you're not an Israelite because you look a certain way. Your color does not denote your nationality. The first thing I'm going to do is try your spirit. Try the spirit by the spirit, because your spirit will show you whether you're Israelite or not. Because some people fight against this truth because they don't want the Israelites to be anything but...
I know the passage that you're going to read me.
What's he going to read you?
He's going to read me the passage about the Messiah coming, about the land of Israel.
I'm going to go back into that Luke, the 21st.
Okay, yeah. That's very clear.
Like how we spoke about the land of Israel and who is. Well,
this is what the Messiah said.
I'll go into. This is Luke chapter 21 and 24. And tell us what you think about this as well. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And that happened within 70 AD. With the Roman persecution of Jerusalem.
Destruction of the first temple.
Yeah.
Second temple.
Second, yeah.
That's all right.
And Jerusalem, this is the point, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
And that's the coming of the Messiah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, I know, but listen.
But
there's
also,
a distinction between you ideologues, because you follow the word. You do not strive from it to its entirety. And a difference between people that act on their lived experience.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Meaning, you've been chased like a rat out of every single fucking place you've ever settled in, used.
Well, they were in
Hold on. Used beneficially by every single government. I'm not so keen on being on.
Oh, sorry.
if you don't
Sorry.
mind.
No,
Sorry.
sorry. That's right. Sorry.
You know how it is.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
all right,
essentially
that's
this idea of the banking system. Well,
What they do?
yeah, hold on.
It's like
When you've been told, well, no, you can't sell clothes, you can't sell you can't sell you can live in this little shithole ghetto and lend money. That's what they do.
But
Because they pledge allegiance as a people to whatever country they go to. So I'm sorry to say it, for the mind, they said, oh yeah, come, help us with the economy, whatever. And at the last minute, as is always the case. Now, those people that have run from one place to the next place to the next place, and eventually, due to the preaching of political Zionism, which is not Zionism in principle. Zionism in principle exists throughout the Old Testament, reference to the Holy Land, the land of milk and honey, etc. That's Zionism.
well, it's not Zionism.
No,
Zionism is
what I'm
the
saying to you
Rothschilds
is,
put together.
no. You're saying that Zionism
Did they
is
not-
political Zionism.
Did they not sign the Balfour Treaty? The Rothschilds?
Of course they did, but
They did,
Zionism
but-
is imbued in our texts.
Well,
Way
no.
before that.
No, that's not Zionism.
Well-
That's we look at that as a promise and a covenant that the Most High gave to you. He said, "This is your land." Remember, that's Zionism. Okay, you make Zionism today. That's fine. We can argue on those words. But
Yeah,
what I'm
but I
saying
don't
is that
understand why you negate that. Why do you reject that? The fact that all these references to the promised land, the land of milk and honey, why do you say that that's not Zionistic?
I don't call it Zionist. I call it a covenant and a promise at the Most High, because that's what it says in the Bible. It was a covenant and a promise.
Yes,
that he
because
gave to them.
Zionism
Now, Zionism
is in the very texts, in the roots of everything
I mean, you
that
can
we.
call it Zionism. It's fine. I don't
What's
mind.
your phobia?
No, I don't.
You have an allergy to the word.
No, I have to go by that.
You haven't come back with a response to what I've just read, actually.
My response is that in real time, your lived experience, irrespective of your text,
Irrespective.
Do you believe in
irrespective
the
of
Bible?
your text, irrespective
I'm
of your
serious.
text, irrespective of your
So you
no,
don't
but
believe in the
I'm
Bible?
Zionist.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
And
a
Zionists don't believe in the Bible.
It's not that I don't believe in the Bible. It's that I don't
So why
believe
do
in
you
it in an archaic. I don't believe in not being flexible with your text in terms of a modern.
I'm just
Sorry,
saying to you, you
I'm
can't
sorry.
fit all the word
That's
of God.
what Islam is. Hang their hat on to go and slay any
No,
non-Islamists.
but we don't believe that.
No,
see,
you have to modernize
When
and
the
be.
No.
Hamashiach comes back, we will. That is when he will rise to the plate for us.
No, I understand that. All I'm saying is that in a practical, real-time context, if you've been burnt out your home, you've had to go to this place, you've had to go to that place, and the promise all your life through your creed, through your teachings, etc., has been the land of Israel, and by hook or by crook, and it's the crook is the political Zionism. You go to the land of Israel and you build a fucking nation with a $550 billion GDP a year, and that's medicine. Irrigate. It's not just arms. It's not just the cradle of sin.
It's not.
No, it's medicine. It's irrigation. It's all sorts of things that Israel exposed to the world. It's tech, etc., etc. That's a nation to be proud of. Something that you built in 70
but
years.
at the same time, you can say Israel's a welfare state because it takes money from America every year. Israel's GDP is 550 billion. Israel takes money from America has to give Israel $10 to $15 billion every year to help it function.
Israel, and Israel has to spend more or less the ridiculousness of this agreement is that Israel has to spend more or less the same, if not more, on arms from America.
Oh, of course, that's what they're doing. That's what they do.
Yeah.
This is why when people
Of course
talk
it's
about,
a welfare state
Yeah, yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Of course it's a welfare.
But when the people of the promise come back into the land, that land will have no war anymore.
That's right.
It will be peaceful. Can you say that
Can you
that is
imagine that?
happening today? It's not.
Yeah, but there's more than one party involved in the situation
in
nowadays.
in spite of all,
Unfortunately, the number of... Are you interested
yeah,
in politics and the situation that...
No, we are only to
It's
the
not
point.
politics, it's
No,
just like...
only to the point where we know this war in Israel is going to lead us to World War III.
Yeah.
We know that through the Bible, and we know that the wars are not going to stop. All this is not going to stop until the Lord comes back. Now, this is Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, right? This is Isaiah chapter 2. It says the word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, promised land, right? And it shall come to pass in the last days, talking about these, most consider these are the last days. But this is what the Lord said to the prophet Isaiah. It shall come to pass in the last days that the mountains of the Lord's house, talking about the Israelites, shall be established in the top of the mountains. Now the word mountains is another symbolic word for government, because when governments keep a summit is the top of the mountain, they call it a G7 summit. These are just symbolic words talking about government. So it's saying the mountain of the Lord's house, which is the children of Israel, the Israelites, shall be established on top of the mountains, all the other governments, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations, all the other nations, shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountains of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, which is the children of Israel, right? And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion, Jerusalem, shall go forth the law, commandments and statutes, right? And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge amongst the nations, all the other nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. That's what's going to happen when the Lord comes back. This is why we understand that the events that's taking place now have got to happen to bring this in, because if those people in the land of Israel...
You guys need to get out there before that happens.
no, after.
Our job is to be here to do what we do.
What's the problem with going to sea?
I know, because we're not meant to go back there. We're not meant to go back to the land until the Lord comes. That's all. We've got to wait until the Lord comes back. And that. So this is what we're saying, is that when the Lord comes back, nation shall no longer know war against nation. They're going to beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks, all their weapons of wars. All the nations will be coming to Israel.
All the people, the enemies of the world are dead.
Yeah, that's all right.
Just go on, check it
Yeah,
out.
but their families are still here.
all of them will be dead soon enough.
So my point is that all of these people, it's talking about the picture with the Rothschilds and that on it, the people that rule the world. Nah. So what we're saying is that right now, no one's going to the land of Israel to say, teach us the laws.
Plenty of people are.
No, they're not. The only people that's going to Israel are the ones that get the right.
People
The
are.
right.
You people are.
No one is. No,
There's
name me one
plenty.
country. Name me one country that's going to Israel to learn the laws, commandments, and statutes.
There's an entire community of approximately 15,000 Hebrew Israelites
from
Chicago.
Chicago.
There's a community that are going there to learn the laws.
They're going off.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
And they only believe in the Old Testament. They don't believe in the New Testament.
Well, you've asked me to name one. I've named one.
But they're not meant to be
And
there.
you're discrediting them
No,
in a phrase.
No. I said they're not meant to be there in the land. But I'm talking about an actual country. It says the nations, not a group of people from the nations. There's no country going to Israel to say, teach me the Lord's commandments and statutes. Now, perfect example. If I said to you, where is the largest LGBTQ++ festival held in the world?
Well, proportionally per capita, probably Tel Aviv.
Thank you. So that alone should tell you that they could never be the children of Israel if in the midst of all of what they're meant to be doing, according to God.
But bro, this is the difference between you and I, is that I won't be underpinned by dogma. By a man upstairs and a text that tells me how to live.
And I know that, and I understood that you said that you don't believe in the Bible.
It's not
But
that
I'm not talking about
it's
you.
not that I discredit you.
But I'm not
it's that I'm not going to be browbeaten
That's
by
fine.
nobody, because I don't
fine.
live in no
That's fine.
no dictate in
But I'm
no
not-
totalitarian
I'm not talking
thing,
about
because
you though. I'm talking about those people who are in the Bible, the Hasidic Jews. You know, the proper ones that I'm studying.
yeah. Well,
They
you
would-
bet that
could you
there's no LGBTQ
No, but you know
amongst
what I
them.
mean? No. But it's in the land land of Israel,
But-
and they
but
know the
why
Bible.
should it be
They
in
know the
Holy
Bible.
Land?
That's
Why
one thing I
should
know
it
is that
be
they
there?
know the Bible, right? They definitely know the Bible. So they know for themselves that something's not right here.
Because-
this is why a lot of those
I tell you
Hasidic
why,
Jews
because the
that are
Holy Land
over
is a
here,
special place that embraces all humanity, and it's a place of tolerance and coexistence. And you might see that as idealistic nonsense
No,
because
no,
you're underpinned by an ancient text
Yeah,
which
'cause we
talks
believe in
about
it, yeah.
beheading and slaying.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well,
do
I
believe
live
it.
in 2024.
I know that.
I ain't beheading nobody
Yet you
unless
claim
they
to
come
be-
and
yet
test
you
my
claim-
skull. You
Yet you
understand?
claim to be the
That-
people
that-
of the Bible.
I'm just talking about those that are there. if they were truly the
Sorry.
I believe in fluidity
Yeah.
with modern times.
I hear what you're saying,
So
but-
that you can be the people of the, you can believe,
But you
you can be
understand-
the people of the Bible. But you've got to keep up with the pace
But
of
you un-
modernization, which is a byproduct of capitalism.
But you understand what I'm saying, though, right? That if they were truly the children of Israel, that all of this wouldn't be, according to the Bible, because I'm saying those that believe the Bible, all of that wouldn't be going on there in the land of Israel.
Well, that's the reason why I can't be underpinned by an ancient text,
I hear you,
because
I hear
the
you.
human condition,
But soon you're going to have to be.
the human condition. I'm ready to take up arms at any point.
So what I'm
The
saying
human
is that when the
condition
Lord
doesn't
comes back-
allow us to be underpinned by a text, because the little green-eyed monster
Yeah, that's right.
and whatever else that drives
That's
us.
a weakness.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that's a weakness.
Yeah. So this idea that this
That's why the
utopian
Bible
tribe
says-
of people that will be behaving blissfully in this perfect,
That's why-
shiny.
Get out the scripture,
For
it
me,
says,
it doesn't
"Lay-
exist.
lay out the treasures in
For
heaven."
me, it doesn't exist.
That's why the Bible says.
You and I
lay out-
have all seen too many sinners in our time.
Yeah, but we're all sinners. We're still sinners.
course.
I'm still a sinner because we're
I
in
won't
these
tell you.
bodies. No, we are. There's not a single human being on this planet Earth that doesn't sin because we're in human bodies. It's a natural part of our DNA. We sin. The only time we're not going to sin, I'm talking about the Israelites, is when
Yeah.
the Lord comes back because they're going to get new bodies, incorruptible bodies. But
It's
right
such a
now-
shame you limit yourself, bro.
I don't limit myself.
Do you?
I'm not.
You're an
But-
you're an interesting and educated man, and you shouldn't allow the text to tell you can't go there to see from just from the basis of we're in 2024. We're in 2024, and you can travel wherever the you like,
I know that.
and
but,
no one can tell you otherwise.
No, but I choose not to go,
I know you choose not to, go,
and that's faith.
but that's your faith.
That's
Okay,
faith.
Matthew
your
chapter 6
This is
and
what the
19
Lord
That's the
it
difference
says,
between me and them.
This is
lay
it.
not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, and this is the crux of it, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Because remember as well, that this whole system that we live under, all right, you've got to know this, because I believe you're an educated man as well, that you've got to understand this, that this whole system is built on fraud, on debt, meaning the money that we use today has no intrinsic value. You've got to know that. Money is no longer associated with gold. Gold, as you should know, is real money, gold and silver. So the minute that the central banks, that
Yeah.
the American government removed
Federal Reserve.
that's right, the
Yeah.
US dollar from the gold standard, central banks could print money at will, meaning they have no that's why they call it fiat currency. The word fiat goes back to the Latin word. This means let the printers go, based on that. So this is what they've done. So we are using money that has no value. It's only because they tell you it has a value. And the bankers, the central bankers that control all of this system, they know that this current money system is going to collapse. This is why everything is moving to a digital system. Because once the fiat money collapses, the digital system is going to come in and they're going to replace that. They're going to go back to the gold standard to give it some validity, some value. Because they can't give you a digital currency with no intrinsic value.
I disagree
You know?
with that.
Oh, they're going to do it.
The digital system is going to go back to the gold and silver
Yeah, they don't have to.
underpinning.
This is why the central banks are buying up tons of gold. If you look for
Yeah,
yourself,
no, I know that.
The
That's
central
why the
banks
gold
are-
prices have rocketed.
completely. But this is why they've been buying up tons and tons of, because they're going to have to back it with something new. They know this current system is going to collapse. They understand this. Because they're the ones that it's built on debt that has no value. So they understand this. So once this system collapses, the US dollar is the bottom is going to fall out from it. And the world reserve currency is the US dollar. Meaning, when you're a country, when you're buying stuff on the international market, you have to exchange your currencies into dollars for you to buy on the, that's why oil is sold in dollars for you to buy it. So they understand. This is why they're trying to get rid of the dollars. This is why China's spending all of this money on this road project, this what they call it, that the road that they're building all the way through the King's
China is
Highway.
spending all this money on the same principle
Yeah. But it's
that
US
you're
dollars
referring to.
Yeah, but it's the US dollars they're
It's about
spending.
external debt
Yeah.
with China.
Absolutely.
China is a covert takeover of the world in the same colonial setup as the rest of the fuckers.
Well, because
Yeah.
the
So
one-
when Africa is busy saying, Russia, they're our friends. Look, Russia are our friends. No, it's just another fucker fucking
well,
you.
but we know that.
Am I right?
Absolutely right.
Am I right? My friend is one of the world's foremost experts on the migratory patterns of the Fulani people. You know the Fulani
Yeah,
people?
from Nigeria.
Yeah, or Nigeria, all the way down to Congo.
That's right. Yeah.
They are nomadic Islamic pastoralists, herdsmen. Yeah, he works for various NGOs that help them in matters of transhumance and dialogue with local populations. Yeah, that's his gig, and he goes there. However, we want to fucking generalize from the outside, the great white man, or whatever, doesn't matter. He goes there. He goes there to create dialogues. He's actually one of the most amazing guys with me. He goes there to create dialogues between these guys, these roaming communities, and the local communities that hate them because they trample all the crops and sometimes kill them. Because by virtue of the jihadi way, there's a lot of tribal wars. He was kidnapped by Wagner on the 25th of May.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's currently in a Wagner prison in Central African Republic. My guy, under accusation of espionage.
He probably is though.
No, he's absolutely not.
He's not going to tell you.
No, I know him. You can't all day long.
Well, he might be lucky
and
because
it doesn't work. That's not how it works.
he might be lucky because yesterday Russia's ordered back quite a lot of their soldiers from Central Africa to come and deal with the incursion that's going on in crops in the Ukraine was coming to Russia. So yesterday did it, yeah. They ordered the soldiers to come back. To come out.
Oh, the Wagner forces.
Yeah, to come back
Oh
home.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
So he
So
might,
the
they might let him
crazy
out.
thing is, along this like diplomatic tightrope that we've been walking, is that on the ground there's been this shit happening. So there's a certain separatist. This is freaking. There's a certain that he's accused of being in cahoots with that has laid down his weapons during the time he's been held. So there's all this stuff that we're keeping abreast of, and then all this like black PR going on, and they're the masters. So you get all the other African broadcasting networks, just like the hymn sheet. They get sent the hymn sheet, they get sent the
But
dough,
they all do it.
and they say, America's it's not black.
But they all do it.
And who's instructing you as the indigenous African broadcaster to say that? The Russian.
But
There's no. You
I
don't
hear what you're
swap
saying.
one evil with another evil
I know, but
and
they
say,
all do
"Woo!"
it. But this is what I'm saying. They're all doing it. This is what I'm saying. The Americans are no better.
Yeah, but it's fuckery.
The
It's
Western
absolute
media
nonsense.
is completely sold out to the corporation, and they're owned by the corporation, and all they're selling the public is bread and circuses. That's
Yeah,
what
but
it
it's be under no illusion. It's not exclusively the Western media.
No, I know that. I'm not saying that. I said they're all at it.
Yeah, they're all
not
at it.
different.
They're all at it. I
You
think
know?
it's now that we're more aware of it nowadays.
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
for
Because
some
we've
people
got
it's
other
much more
channels to
confusing.
get this media out.
And for other people, it's
I mean, what we do, anything we see major in the media, we try to see if it's biblical. We try to look for the Bible.
Look
for
for the
Bible.
reference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's
Yeah, that's what we do, kind of thing. And this is why when we see the wars going on, we understand that these wars have been prophetically prophesied by Isaiah, Jeremiah. If I tell the people that America is Babylon the Great in the Bible, a lot of people don't even know that because most churches, we don't deal with the churches, as you know that. They don't even understand the Bible, the Christian church. So, they don't realize that, like I said to people, I said, look, every other major kingdom, empire is prophesied in the Bible. Do you think somehow that the Most High forgot about America and didn't write about America in the Bible? And that's how stupid some people are. And I'm saying, of course not, because America is in the Bible as the daughter of Babylon, referred to as Babylon the Great, in the Bible.
So where do you guys cross over with the Moors?
The
Moorish
Moors are
Renaissance.
The Moors are Israelites that just worship Islam. Because Islam is just a religion.
You're
That's what
talking
they are.
about the North African one.
No, I'm talking about born again Moors. Moorish. I call it Moorish Renaissance.
Yeah.
Moorish science.
Yeah.
Moorish science is what it's referred to.
Because
as, right?
you've got to remember that.
I'm going to come here with my top friend who is a Moor.
He's a Moor.
He's a Moor, and he will rap with you for a good minute.
But Moors are just people that worship. Because what does the word Moor mean? Moor just goes back to the Spanish word moreno. Just means black. That's what it means. Moors just means black. So.
Yeah. Well,
Moors,
in Moorish science, it can be broken down a lot.
I know, but it's not.
More
Moors is not. It's not a nationality. It's just like white. White is not a nationality. It's just a color. Black is not a nationality. It's just a color. There's no such thing as a white man because you're not white. You're different.
Are you
shades
from this
of red.
area?
North London, but not down here. You're different shades of red. There's no such thing as a black man. No one is the color of his shirt. We're different shades of brown. These are just colors. We are nationalities. Everyone has a nationality. There are 18 nationalities in the Bible, basically now. So to be an Israelite, it's not to do with worshipping. It's your nationality. That's who you are.
Listen, I'm glad that you guys consider yourself Israelite.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be on the front line. Yeah. We'll be on the front line.
Because our
fighting.
fight is spiritual.
Your fight is spiritual.
Absolutely.
We'll be taking the licks and giving them out. Yeah.
You're gonna
so
usher
when
in.
you're ready to come out, we'll welcome you with open arms. Yeah.
You're gonna usher in the
You think I'm part of the problem? I'm clearing the way for you
that.
guys to come and enjoy the land of milk and
I never once said that
yeah?
you're part
And
of
when
the
you're
problem.
ready to come fight with us, we welcome you.
I've never once said you're part of the problem. What I'm saying is that you're going to help usher in the World War III. And that's the only way the Messiah comes back.
There won't be no World War III.
Absolutely.
There won't be a World War III.
Do you really believe that they created weapons, nuclear weapons, and they're not going to use them? Mankind has never created a weapon he's not used.
Yeah, but
And
the first nuclear weapon ever used, that was the atomic bomb, right?
Was it even
Which was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's about time another nuclear weapon was
and
used.
these ones are
That's not going to be a World War III.
Absolutely.
Nah,
These are going to be. These are going to be a.
The capitalist matrix is far too complex for everyone to chuck all the shit in the sewers to say, let's go and fight.
What I want you
there's
to
too
do,
many
right?
people with too
What I
much
want
shit
you
on
to
the line.
do, right? When it happens,
Yeah.
please remember me. That you was told that it is. I'm not telling you this out
Well,
of.
Baruch Hashem, not in our lifetime, bro.
Absolutely,
It's not in my
it
lifetime.
is.
It is in my lifetime.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm telling you because it's biblical.
It's
I'm
any
not-
time now.
Yeah. I'm not saying this because of feelings or much. It's biblical.
Yeah.
The nations are going to war. Ezekiel talks about the war of Gog and Magog. It's in the Bible. Gog and Magog, the land of Magog, is Russia.
Yeah, well, listen, man, I've been waiting for biblical prophecies and Nostradamus-esque prophecies since the millennium. Yeah, none of them have come true. So, you know, we'll see.
Can I bring the scripture up?
Yes,
Okay, this is the book of Isaiah 54 and 16. It says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument of his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. The smith is the scientist who brings forth the waster, which is the thermonuclear weapons that are on the earth today. And what did he
The
say?
Smith, not a way of saying God.
No. He's the man that works in to make the weapons of war. Like,
Yeah.
Like
Metal
blacksmith and
smith,
so
yeah.
on.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's when you break it down, he's created an instrument.
And two men he used to get to that point. Albert Einstein to split the atom, and Oppenheimer to create the atomic bomb. He needed those two men to do those two things to be where we are today.
That's
And what did
talking about.
Oppenheimer say when he created the atomic bomb? He said, now I've become something of death. He said, now I've become
The killer of worlds. No,
the killer of worlds, something like that. He said that. He said, or the death of worlds, because he understood what he created. He'd opened up the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
They are going to use these nuclear missiles. Absolutely. But what I'm saying to you is that the countries that are going to be hit are only going to be those that possess nuclear missiles. So, for instance, there's not a country in Africa that possesses nuclear missiles. They won't get hit. South America, there's no nuclear missiles. They won't get hit. Australia's got a nuclear missile. The countries that do have them is what? England, France, Russia, America, Israel, Iran, North Korea, Pakistan, India, and China. 10 countries. So those are the only potential targets that will be hit, the ones that have it. And also maybe different countries in Europe because they are allied nations. Remember, all of the NATO nations are what? They're all European countries. No one's a member of NATO that's from another nationality. They're only European nations. So they are one unit coming together that the Bible speaks about. So they are going to go to war. The Russians are going to go to war. The Russians are going to come to the defense of... Russia is going to invade Israel. The Bible says so. Even your own scholars know this because they understand Ezekiel chapter 38 and
Russia
Ezekiel
won't,
chapter 39.
Russia won't put boots on the ground.
Oh yeah, it's in the
Israel.
Bible. It's in the Bible.
They will invade Israel through proxies, Iranian proxies.
No. Russia is going to invade Israel. It's in the Bible.
Yeah.
The land that Russia's in today is, in biblical times, it was called the land of Gog. That's what they're in. It's in the book of Ezekiel chapter 38. Russia's going to create a coalition of countries together, and it names them Persia, Iran, Libya, Ethiopia. It names the countries Togomar,
Not Ethiopia.
Goma. Yeah, it's in there. It's a list of countries.
Ethiopia certainly ain't.
Even your
Ethiopia
own...
joined on to that whole Russian, the Commonwealth of Russia. I'll call it that.
Even your own scholars know this because they understand. The book of Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, Russia is going to invade Israel. Israel is going to go to war with Iran. America is going to back Israel. Russia is going to come down from the north, it's told you clearly in the Bible, and invade Israel. And it makes it clear. It's going to come down and invade Israel. In that part there...
Russia is depleted militarily. First of all, it's not the mighty nation that you think it is. It's depleted militarily. Russia will get a good old spanking, So will Iran.
And China.
So will Iran.
And
China are not putting boots in the ground because China's takeover is covert. The ports, the infrastructure, the roads, we'll build it all out.
To the Bible.
Do you know why Russia?
And we'll subjugate everybody. This is the Chinese way. We'll subjugate everybody through foreign debt, through debt, because they think that if we build a port in Abuja and you owe us $100 million, we're going to get paid eventually, which is a bit of a fantasy.
But they know
in an African context.
But America's already done that, isn't it? America's already used the IMF and the World Bank to put all this
on a currency level, but not on an infrastructure level.
No, but on the debt, to loan them money. They're all in debt to the IMF.
Everyone's in debt to the IMF. Everyone's in debt to China. Well, it's fucked.
But it is. And this is why we're going to go to war. But the Bible is clear. Russia invades Israel. America comes to Israel's defense. The Bible is clear. Yeah. Iran and Israel are the ones that are going to draw in Russia and America into this war.
Israel won't be the land that you will see Russia clashing with America over.
I want you to
directly.
Russia.
It won't be Israel.
I'm telling even your own Zionist scholars know this because they understand Ezekiel 38 is talking about Russia, Gog. They know that. If you look at a biblical map where Russia's in today, that used to be called the land of Gog. They know that categorically. They know that Ezekiel 38 is a future prophecy. They know that Russia...
I think we're going to be more likely to see things in places like Taiwan. That's going to be a potential source of a world war.
Absolutely.
Potentially the next countries around Ukraine, because Ukraine's not the last of the Russian project.
Ukraine is finished. Russia's going to take Ukraine. Ukraine is finished. Ukraine was a pet project for the Europeans.
Ukrainian.
No.
Ukraine is totally finished.
No.
Russia's going to take over. It's a done deal. Completely
But
finished.
close to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Close to Ukraine.
It's completely finished.
Poland.
Yeah.
Poland.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that Ukraine is the last in that region of Russian
I'll tell you why.
plans.
It is. I'm telling you why. Because the war that everyone's
Going to move to Israel.
that's where it's going to happen. That's where World War III is going to happen.
Wow.
World War III
But you're seeing the rise of it now.
It's prophesied to happen in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is where? It's in Israel. But the word Jehoshaphat in the Hebrew goes back to what? Yehoshaphat, which means the Valley of God's judgment. That's where World War III is going to take place. Ezekiel speaks about it. The Book of Revelation speaks about it. They call it the War of Armageddon in the Book of Revelation. That's where it's going to take place. It's the war. It's Israel. The Bible says it's the least of the flock. It's going to draw all of these countries into World War III. They are going to go to war against Iran. That's a done deal. You're going to see
It's
it.
not going to play out in Israel.
The least of the flock is
They're
Israel.
going to do a false flag event.
The least of the flock is Israel.
They're going to do a false flag event to draw Iran. This is why they're trying. Everything they've been doing is to get Iran to strike Israel by doing all these assassinations in Iran. But Iran hasn't bitten the bite yet. They're going to do, America or Israel's going to create a false flag event to get Iran into this war.
Well,
Israel.
you're talking about Iran's already into this war up to here,
Yeah,
mate.
that's true. It's proxies. I'm talking about direct. Iran and Israel are going to go to war direct. They are going to draw in. They're going to draw in
the sway in Iran. The division in Iran is already too extreme to mobilize the numbers.
But what always mobilizes
to get the IRGC on the ground over to Israel
But check this out.
before they get fucking blown to smithereens.
What mobilizes a country
Because-
is always war.
Because if you talk to any Iranian, most Iranians
Over
in London,
here.
over here,
Yeah.
over
These
here,
are
they all got nothing to
Yeah,
do
but-
with the Khomeini,
they-
with Nasrallah,
that's like
with the
talking,
Hezbollah.
that's like talking about the Cubans in Florida. They
Yeah.
hate their Cuba.
Yeah.
They're so Americanized.
But you're no,
What I'm
because I
saying
lived
is
in
that-
Cuba 2.5 years, and I will tell you that well over 60% of the island cannot stand the situation
Oh,
that
yeah.
they live in.
Yeah, but why are they?
So be under no illusion that this Castro is.
No. I'm not saying that. But
No, they fucking hate it.
But they understand why. Why they're under that? Why they're under that condition? Because America's had sanctions on it for 60
No,
years.
that is a
60
Castroist.
years.
That is a Castroist.
It's not.
Like, absolutely, it
It's
is.
not.
It's certainly contributory.
why
but
did-
to say the
But it has.
embargo, it's a great way
It's a 60-year embargo.
fueling the flames of dictatorship.
But they have. It's been a.
And it's the same thing Putin does, and it's the same thing
but
that any other dictators do in the
But it
world.
is a reality. It has been 60 years embargo. Remember, why did Castro take over the island? Because it was run by the mafia and America. They was turning it into their paradise. He said, no, I had enough of that. This is our place.
Yeah.
So he kicked them out. And all of the
Yeah.
mob lost their money over there in the banks.
Yeah,
and
and
the
why do
casinos and that.
Cubans in tens of thousands leave the island
Oh,
by
because-
ships? Listen, don't use your Western
No.
privilege
No.
to speculate about the reality of people that live there.
No.
Yeah, because it's very easy to say, Che Guevara, what a guy, he fended off the imperialist advances
They
of the
did, but-
fucking American devil from the comfort of your home in North London.
No.
Because we have it good here.
No. You may have it good here, not me.
Well, listen,
I
even
grew up in London under different circumstances than you did.
well, quite
But what-
possibly,
No,
but
definitely.
nevertheless,
Definitely.
your
Definitely.
circumstances compared to
but I
somebody
understand
in the
what-
same situation in Cuba are completely
I
different.
know that, but I understand that anytime you have an eternal war, you're always going to have some people that are against the new system because they were, first and foremost, they were privileged in the old system. So they're the first ones to leave.
No,
The one-
no.
Absolutely, 100%.
Like Venezuela.
It's
where
the
oil-
same thing.
I'm not denying that. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
But you're pretending that the only people that
No,
will
no,
be
no,
against
no, no,
this
no. I didn't
would
say
be
that.
the haves
No.
of the previous
I did
system.
not say that. I said
There
to
are
you that-
plenty of have-nots that are not having any of this communist
Did I not
bullshit.
say that? I said that there will be some that will just be against it anyway. But I'm saying the majority of them are those that was privileged in the old system in those places as such.
But you need to pay more close attention
I go
to the
back to what-
streets of Cuba and what goes on every,
yeah, but it goes back to what I'm
every other
saying.
day.
Why is America
The amount of assassinations of
America
ordinary people.
But why has America had a 60-year embargo on Cuba? Why?
Because Cuba represents Eastern...
So-
because Cuba represents communism.
Right, but that's their
And
And
business.
it's America,
But
it's
that's-
capitalism versus
But that's
communism.
their business. America does. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna go to that argument there.
In terms of
Whoa,
domination in
Hold
the
it, hold it.
global,
I'm glad you said
in
that.
the free market.
I'm glad
Right.
you said that. You know the Bible says that they shall make their own tongues to fall upon themselves. You're saying because Cuba represents communism. What about fucking China? Everything America buy comes from China.
I totally agree with you, bro.
So they got no embargoes
Because
in
the
China.
black and white politics is nonsense.
Yeah, but this is what I'm
Because
trying to
behind
say.
closed doors, everyone's doing
This is
business
what
with
I'm,
each
this is
other.
what I'm trying to say to that. America.
However, Cuba,
Stop it, you just,
bro, you can swim to America from Cuba.
China's
Cuba
even
is
doing-
on your
but
doorstep.
you understand.
China's even doing,
That's far away. Let's
under
use
the-
their factories and
But you understand what I'm saying, though. That
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with communism. They decide who they want to kill and keep alive. Literally, that's America. Simple as. So they want
yeah, but
China.
as somebody from Poland, wouldn't you say that was the modus operandi of Russia also?
No.
They decide who they want to kill and keep alive.
I'm not denying that. I'm not. You think I'm denying what Russia is doing different from America?
And what
I'm
has
not
what
saying
Russia's
that.
historically
But
done?
what I'm saying to you is that Russia's not done what America has done in terms of. You got to think. I always say to people, when you think of colonization, right? You don't think of Russia as a country that colonizes, all right? Because there's no place outside of Russia where they speak Russian.
But I do think
Right.
of Islam
But
as a movement and an ideology
yeah,
that
but it's-
colonizes.
of
Do
course-
you?
Of course they are, because Islam.
Because every indigenous community in the African continent has adopted Islam.
Yeah, because
The
and
Kabil, the
that's because
the
of
Berber.
colonization.
It's
And it's a religion.
Islamic colonization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying to you, that this is how you know who your colonizers are. Look what languages these countries speak.
100%.
So-
Arabic is the primary thing.
Absolutely.
If you look
Arabs
at,
are colonizers.
If you look at the Palestinian
English
flag,
are colonizers.
the Palestinian
French
flag
are colonizers.
is a remix of the
Germans are
pan-Arab flag.
colonizers. I'm just trying to.
The whole idea of pan-Arabism is the
Yeah,
Palestinian
but
flag.
I'm just trying to show
Which
you who
tells
your
you
colonizers are.
That we're all under one flag.
Russia.
What is that? That's a colonial
We're
ideology.
moving from the point. Russia is not a colonizer because Russia doesn't colonize. No country outside of the Soviet Union speaks Russian. And remember, after the Second World War, the reason why places like Poland that were controlled by Russia was because of the agreement between Stalin,
That's not
Churchill.
true.
What are we talking about?
That is not true.
Controlled,
All
but
of the
I would say
Stans, all of the
a lot
Caucasus
of
speak
people
Russian.
back in the day, the only language that you could learn in Poland was Russian.
Absolutely, yeah.
So my mum's fluent, my
Absolutely.
grandma's fluent in Russian because it was forced on you to learn the
Absolutely.
language.
And I'm saying
That's
that.
colonialism.
Yeah, and
Well-
what I'm saying to you is that the reason why that happened is because after the Second World War, the British, Churchill, Roosevelt from America, and Stalin all sat down and they drew a line. They said, Russia, you can have this from East Germany and that. America took part of East Germany, West Germany. Britain had a little part. This is what they did. This is what colonialists do. This is what I'm trying to say. This is what they split the line.
Absolutely
So
correct.
they did the
I
same.
mean, geographically, Poland has a really bad position because it's right in the middle between
Absolutely, yeah,
Germany
yeah.
and
That's-
Russia.
so you had to stay on that side.
The
Yeah.
minute the EU started taking those countries in the east, aka Poland, now the Ukraine, that is a declaration of war.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
That is
They knew what they were
that's-
doing.
That's a declaration because now you've got military bases
Yeah.
on your border.
Yeah.
You know, well.
Could you imagine if Russia went to Mexico
Yeah,
and said,
and
right,
put a
I want to
military-
put bases in Mexico? Do you not think America would have invaded Mexico? They'd invaded Mexico the same night. So when people say, why did Russia invade Ukraine? It's because of the same reason. You think Russia going to allow Ukraine to join NATO and have bases there? They're not having it because the reason why America wants these bases so close to Russia is because when this war happens, they want to be able to nuke Russia within 20, 25 minutes. Remember, only France and England have their own nuclear weapons. Outside of that, America has bases in Germany and other countries, and I think in those countries they can host nuclear weapons or nuclear planes that can fly those stealth planes for America. Now, there's no way you know that you can be hit by a nuclear missile within 20, 25 minutes, even less than that. If they got bases in Ukraine, you're talking about probably 15, 10 minutes, that missile would hit its target. They're not going to have it. Russia said that
Launch remotely.
if they see an existential threat, they will launch nuclear weapons.
Yes.
I'm saying to you is that these countries will go to this war, this nuclear war, but before that happens, they are going to collapse the global economy and they're going to collapse the US dollar. They're going to collapse all of that before they go to war. But the war is going to come on the tail of all of that, what's happening, because they're going to use the war, just like how they used the pandemic that they did with the COVID and that. They're going to use that to say this is why everything's going to pieces, because the only thing you can get out of chaos is order. They're going to create all of this chaos to do what? To bring in this new world order. This is what they're doing. This is what their plan is. It's all there to be done. And I'm saying to you that when they get to the point of their plan, when they think they've fulfilled it, that's when our Lord, the Messiah, Yahushua, is going to turn up. Because these nations, I said already, only 10 countries possess nuclear weapons. So when people say, oh, you have the Christian church say, oh, the whole world is going to be destroyed in the war of Armageddon. That's total BS. Because only 10 countries possess nuclear weapons. The Lord is coming to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth. Why? Because there's no way we ourselves are going to be able to come to this peace. Everyone's got their own, just like everyone's got their own idea of how things want to be run. Everyone's got their own ideas. Some countries don't like to see other countries rising up, this and that. The only way they can settle this is through war. They know this. We know it because it's prophesied in the Bible that they're going to go to war. And in the midst of that war, which is going to start in the Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, it's going to start World War III. In the midst of it, it has started. Yeah. Technically, it started. Yeah. But when I say in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, because the main players, Russia and America, are going to go to war in the Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. In the midst of that war, the Russians are going to fire nuclear missiles on America. Whether you believe this or not, America is prophesied in the Bible to be totally destroyed by nuclear weapons. Yeah. The Bible's quite clear. Babylon the Great is going to become a complete desolation. But in the midst of that war, that's when the Messiah, Yahushua, is going to turn up to deliver his elect from the four corners of the world and from the fire that's going to pursue from these nuclear war. He's going to deliver them out of it into what we call UFOs and UAPs. Those are the chariots of the Lord and the angels. They're going to deliver them into that. They're going to literally look down on the earth and watch these nukes being fired. But only America is going to be destroyed. The other place that's going to be destroyed during this war is going to be Israel. Do you know why Israel's going to be destroyed? Because it has to be purified. The only thing you can make something clean again, I'm just telling you what the Bible says, it has to be purified by fire. Yeah. But the elect, the Israelites in Israel, that's considered the elect, they're going to be delivered out of that destruction. Mm-hmm. So not everyone in Israel is going to be killed, but the place has to be purified by fire. Yeah. That's when the Lord is going to come back to establish the kingdom of heaven upon earth. But he is going to go to war against the nations. They're going to come together in the midst of World War III. When they see the Lord and the angels and the chariots, the nations are going to come together to fight against the Lord. But the Lord is going to subdue them, he's going to subjugate them, and he's going to take them down. And that's how he's going to establish it. And he's going to get rid of every weapon of war that's going to be destroyed. It's all in the Bible. And I'm not just saying this because I'm telling you this, that even certain top scholars that come from your world know that to be a fact according to the Bible. Whether people believe it or not, that's a different thing. But what the Bible is clear on, this is where the war is going to be. This is what's going to happen. It's going to start as a conventional war. It's going to escalate to a nuclear war. In the midst of the nuclear war, the Lord and the angels are going to come to deliver the elect of the children of Israel from the four corners of the world that are scattered and mixed amongst the nations. And then the Lord is going to go to war against the nation. And when he delivers them, he's going to bring them to another wilderness. Just like the wilderness in Egypt, the Bible speaks about another wilderness the Lord's going to bring his people to, while the Lord and the angels are going to go to war against all of the nations to subjugate them and subdue them. And that's what the Bible says. So everything we see happening is happening for a reason. And a lot of people can sense it in their thing. They don't have to admit to it or believe in the Bible, but they can sense that this thing is going to happen, that this war is going to happen, that every time we see people talking about, we've de-escalated this, de-escalated that, there's no de-escalation that's going on. Even when they talk about the Gaza and the Israeli stuff, you keep hearing the Secretary of State from America keep going over. That's just a PR thing. I'm going over to get some peace agreement. Netanyahu is not going to give any. He's going to go in there and wipe out every single Hamas leader. All of that. As he should. I'm not saying he shouldn't, but I'm just saying this is what he's going to do. So all that stuff we see, the Jake Sullivan coming over or that guy, this is all the PR stuff. Absolutely, it's just theatre for us 100%. To see. That's what it's for. So Netanyahu knows, and he knows.
By the way, I'm not pro Netanyahu.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
I think he needs to get locked up
Yeah.
ASAP.
Yeah, but
However,
even,
now's not the time to lock him up
even him himself, not this, because when do people
because we're in
come?
the middle of the shit.
But I just say that's when a nation comes together in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
There's no time to turn on each other.
And that's where nationalism.
But that's the point. That's the objective of the other side.
Yeah, but that should always
Because
be.
they'll
That's
be
always
like,
the
oh, look at
objective.
themselves tearing themselves apart from within.
But that's
Well, I go to different barber shops, yeah, believe it or not, for my very intricate hairdo, yeah, up and down the Holloway Road, down to Trinity Park, and I have political conversations.
Yeah.
All of the,
But that's what
all
the barber
of the-
shop's
yeah,
about.
That's what the barber shop's
That's
about.
always been about.
Absolutely right, but it's a thin line to cross
Yeah.
in these Finsbury
Yeah,
Park
yeah.
areas.
Yeah, because there's a lot of Muslims around.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
but those are the people I like to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's good to talk.
But what I'm telling
Listen,
you is there's a lot of misinformation out there. People think
absolutely.
certain
You think I don't know that? Of course there is. And this is what the media's are masters at misinformation and propaganda. This is what they do. So you have to filter stuff that they say, and you have to do your own due diligence to try to get to the truth. It doesn't mean you're always going to get to the exact truth, but you're going to get to some truth that will make you understand what's going on.
But what I'm telling you is when I told you about your position in the West, and you said, well, my position is different to your position, as I'm sure it is.
Absolutely.
But that wasn't my point. That
Okay.
wasn't my point.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying is, regardless of your social status,
Uh-huh.
this place is a darn sight better
Of course.
than
Absolutely.
So when you dedicate your life to the word
Uh-huh.
and to proselytizing and that kind of thing, a critic, which is what I sometimes indulge myself in,
that's fine. That's fine.
as I'm sure you do too, could say that in the comfort of your,
You can do all this stuff.
you can do all this stuff. Whereas in the land of Israel, when you've been banned out of Iraq, when you've been banned out of Algeria, Libya, and any other countries that your family settled in through being chased around, whether it be through Ferdinand and Isabella and the Inquisition of the Moors and the Jews, or whatever else.
But you know,
and you land in the place that is spoken about there. They take that section that talks about the time of the Messiah, and they say, "Fuck that! We're here now. We're going to build a state, and you ain't going to take it from us over our dead bodies." That's their reality.
yeah, I know that.
That's their reality. So,
But the scholars know that the actual scholars, in
Religious
Israel,
scholars.
know that these guys are wrong. They know what's going to happen.
no, I wouldn't say actual scholars, because by saying actual,
No, well, I mean, I'm just
you
saying that.
rule out all the other scholars that are not on board with what you're saying.
When I say I'm talking about the scholars of the scriptures, I can't speak on someone who doesn't believe in the Bible.
But there are scholars of the scriptures that not all scholars of the scriptures won't do conscription, for example.
Yeah, I know that.
Many do.
Yeah,
Not all scholars of the scriptures don't recognize Israel.
that's right.
Many do.
That's right.
It's a very small sect, in fact, many of whom we can find
And
down the road, who like to wave around an Iranian flag and say, and the Arab lobby love to say, look, these are the real Jews. You may say the same.
No,
the
but-
Notoria Carter.
Yeah, but
They're
we know-
poster boys, nothing more, nothing less. They go there, toothless motherfuckers, stand on some Iraqi shoulder and say, fuck Israel.
But we
Burn that place down. It's the cradle of sin. None of this has anything to do with us. Man, they're the turncoats.
But
They're the worst of the
anything
worst.
that we are saying to you, I said to you before, we're going to go into the prophetic scriptures to show you how we know who the actual Jews are today. So if I said to you, for instance, the land of Israel that you're in today, you know that's not all of the promised land, right?
Yes.
So if I ask you, where does the promised land start and finish? Do you know?
No, I wouldn't be able to
Okay.
tell you exactly geographically, but you
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
The promised land starts from the
from
River
the
Nile.
Euphrates.
That's right, from the Euphrates River
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
River Nile in Egypt.
Yeah, that's correct.
All the way down to the Persian Gulf. It will cut across half of
Yeah,
Saudi
yeah,
Arabia,
yeah,
literally.
yeah, but
and
be
go
under
what?
no illusion. That's not the Zionist plan.
I know,
They don't
it
give a
can't be.
fuck about
I know.
that. They're happy with their little thing.
I know.
With their little thing.
And this is
and
why
you speak to any of the Muslims here when I tell you I do my tour of the barbershop, and they'll tell you, but the plan is to build a third temple. And it's like, no,
And this is why I'm
no one
saying,
wants to build a
and this is
third.
why I'm saying to that when you talk about Zionism, it's not talking about what the Bible is saying, because the actual promised land that's going to be given to the children of Israel
It's far larger
is much
than
larger than that. Saudi Arabia is going to lose 2/3 of its land, parts of Syria, half of Egypt's going to be gone. You know what I'm saying? Parts of Iraq's going to be gone.
well, that's something that you should be clear about when you know when you're talking
Of course I am.
to the Arab lobby that will come to you and say, "Yeah, brother, yeah, that place is a cradle of sin and shit." You should tell him, "Well, when Judgment Day comes, my man, we'll be taking your shit too, so they know who you are." Too.
And understand this as well.
We don't hide.
I don't. I tell them that, and I also tell them that all religion is going to be put to bed. This is what I tell them, people. Every synagogue, every Christian church, every mosque is going to be destroyed when the Lord comes back. All these houses of worship are going to be destroyed, because the Lord says, I do not dwell in houses made by temples made by man's hands. All of these places are going to be destroyed.
But can I ask you what your take on the reason why Judaism, of the three monotheistic faiths, is the only one that doesn't proselytize?
But Judaism does. Because you can convert to be a Jew. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but there's no proselytizing is going out to convert.
Oh yeah.
Judaism does not do that.
Yeah, they don't do that. But you can convert
Why?
to be a Jew, though, I'm just saying. They do it in a different
Well,
way.
I think
innit?
your mother
Talking
has to
about
be Jewish.
proselytizing.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I don't think it's
No,
a
that's
tricky. They don't really,
how
they don't
that's
really
your
like
that's
consider
your.
you as a proper Jew if your mum's not Jewish.
But you could
And
you
I'm
could
glad
marry.
she said that.
You could marry, and then you could go through the process,
Yeah.
which could be anything
yeah,
up to a year
No, definitely.
plus.
You're not considered like a proper
But the
Jew.
idea of going
But check this out.
doesn't
Polish
exist.
people, I can go dig out some papers, and if I, find out someone in the line was Jewish, I could also become Jewish because of that.
Absolutely. And check this
From
out
my
as well.
ancestry.
You could go and claim. You could go and become a
Claim-
citizen of
yeah,
Israel.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
check this out. See what you just said there? You said that you can only be a Jew if what? Who's a Jew?
Your mother.
Right. Now look on the chart. You see any women on the chart?
Yeah, but my brother, do you know why that's the case?
Because according to the Bible,
No, you don't know.
the
why
only
that's the
way
case.
you can be a Jew is if you descend from one of the 12 sons
And
of Jacob.
when was that
Right.
law introduced?
It was-
Because it didn't used to be introduced. It used to be the same way as Islam.
What law? That's
That
not
it
a
goes
law.
through the mother.
Oh, that's
The
right.
reason it was
Okay, yeah.
introduced.
I don't even know why.
The
when.
reason
I
it
don't
was
know when, yeah.
introduced.
But that's
was
not
because
biblical.
in Islam,
Uh,
it says,
uh,
take their women and make their children Muslims,
Okay.
which means
That's what you would do.
that through conquest,
Yeah.
rape,
That's what
the
nations
children
do.
become.
Absolutely.
But if you put the religion through the mother,
Is that why you do it?
you
Okay.
can't do it.
It's funny enough.
That's why. Where it went through the mother.
I can say I learned something from him today, because I didn't know that's why they do
to
it.
stop the
Well,
conquest.
I've
of
learned a
Islam.
lot as well. My
The
sister's getting her
greatest
nails done. This
Okay.
is more interesting to be here.
The
Okay.
greatest
But-
imperial plan of our history.
But I'm just saying to you that
Believe that.
that's not what he's telling you is not biblical. So when they say for you to be an actual Jew, your mother has to be a Jew, that's not in the Bible. It's your father. Your heritage goes on your father's side, because the 12 tribes of Israel come from the 12 sons of Jacob. So all of that is not biblical. It has no, because your nationality depends on your father's side,
Okay.
because the
So what
father
is
carries
that?
the
The
seed.
so-called the other side.
That's right. So these are who they call them today. These are the 12 tribes of Israel today. This is what they are known as today. But this is who their biblical tribes are. This is who they truly are, the 12 tribes of Israel. Because the word Jew just goes back to the tribe Judah. It just means you came from the tribe of Judah. That's what it meant.
Okay.
It was a word that the Romans used to describe the people that lived in Jerusalem. It was just a byword. They called them Jews. That's all it meant. So,
Swazi.
basically that. And that's what it meant. So when they say your mother has to be a Jew, that's not biblical. That goes against everything the Bible says. So this is another reason why we know they're not the Jews of the Bible, because they say
So
your
where would
mother
I
has to be a
go
Jew.
under this chart?
It depends. You
They
see,
are the Jews of the Bible.
we say already, it depends on who your father is. All right? So we know that when we're speaking to people, we test the spirit. We try the spirit by the spirit. So we don't try to say, oh, because of what you look like, your colour determines your nationality, because those people are scattered and mixed amongst the nation. So it would depend who your father is or your grandfather. If you know what bloodline they go back to, that might give you an idea of if you're an Israelite or are you an Edomite. Esau. Esau is Jacob's brother, Israel's brother. They were the two twins that came out of from Rebecca, Isaac's wife, basically.
Yeah.
Now. She had Jacob and Esau. Esau came out first. Esau is the progenitor of what we know today as the Europeans. That's who their true forefather is. They're the Edomites. The Israelites are those people there, but they were also scattered and mixed amongst the nations. So that's another reason why we know they're not the Jews, because they're talking about your mother got to be a Jew. I'm glad you brought it up.
I've just explained to you why. Your explanation to her, you've completely ignored everything I just told you.
I heard what you said, because I never knew that. I never knew that's why they did it.
So if that's something that you never knew, how can you say that with this discovery of this new information,
because they
you can totally and utterly discount what I've just told you?
Because
to continue what you're saying, that they are not the Jews on the basis of what you've just said.
I know, but I've always known that, because you can't be a Jew according to your mother. Your mother's got nothing to do with your heritage. But they actually live off of that.
They do, because of the reason I just explained to you.
Yeah, but that's not biblical. I understand the reason why you're saying, because of what you said the Arabs are going to do, but I'm saying to you...
But you say you're Renaissance as a 12-tribe Israelite, or your Renaissance or your self-discovery or whatever in terms of your teachings or whatnot has come predominantly in the last 20 years.
Yeah, through the scriptures.
So as the oldest monotheistic faith that predates Islam and Christianity by over 1,500 years, maybe 2,000, how is it that you can now determine who's a Jew and who's not a Jew? You, a new man to the creed.
I said,
when does a white man get off determining the truth of the African or the true African?
As I said,
no other.
The only way we
do you
know.
see what I'm saying here?
No. But
how can you determine?
Because you have to go back to the Bible. The Bible says here. Listen, this is
you get what my question, my challenge to you.
No, but what I'm saying to that, it has no value on what the Bible says. I
basing everything on the text.
Absolutely, because this is how you know who the Jews are today. You have to go to the Bible. That's the only way you're going to know.
There's not just one text. There's not just one text that you.
Look, this is a. One. No, I want to one. This is the Book of Numbers, right? This is Moses. This is the Torah. I'm reading out of the Torah, right? This is the Book of Numbers in the Torah, right? This is what I'm reading out here. These are the 5 books.
The Torah?
Yeah, the Torah. Yeah,
oh,
yeah. Because the 5 books of the Bible is called the Torah. It just means the laws.
Oh, yeah.
All right. This is the book Numbers. This is Moses, right? This is Numbers 1, verse 18. It says, "And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the 2nd month, and they declared their pedigrees, their nationalities, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upwards, the house of their fathers." So the only way you know who an Israelite is, first and foremost...
When was that?
This is the Torah.
Yeah, when was that?
Oh, Moses would have wrote this when he was after the...
Pre-Islam?
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this is in
Islam
keeping
is just a
what I
religion.
just explained to you. Because when Islam, Muhammad and his friends, if you want to call it that, or Muhammad and his armies, if you want to call it that, decided that they ought to conquer the lands, yes, done in the way that traditionally back then we know how.
Everyone did.
The Jewish people decided that the religion should go through the mother. That way they would combat everybody being converted to Islam.
But then why wasn't it done in the Assyrian captivity? Why wasn't it done in the Babylonian captivity? Why
because
only...
the Assyrians predated Islam. They were not Mohammedites.
I hear what you're saying, and this is the first time I'm hearing this. So I'm taking your word for it now, but I will go back and do my own research on what you're saying. But that still doesn't deter the fact that for you to be a Jew, it depends on your father. For you to be an Israelite, it's on your father. Doesn't matter what we may have changed to keep our people alive.
Well, funnily enough, it's my father that's Jewish, so I'm glad to say, I'm glad that you validated me, because the entire community does not and doesn't accept me. So bless. What's your name? What's your name?
Yochanan.
Yochanan Toby.
Toby.
I'm local. I will come and rap some more.
Oh, your father's good.
It's psychosomatic. Really, do I need the barber shop? Not really.
So it continues, and he said unto them, "Go ye into the world and preach the gospel to every creature. because it's also a spiritual transition which happens within the children of Jacob when they hear, because the scattered are among every nation, you know. And it says, he that believeth and is baptized, we're talking about the baptism of the word, which is the spirit of the heavenly Father, if you can receive it, shall be, he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe. In my name shall they cast out devils, they shall speak with new tongues, they shall take up serpents. That's not actually.
It's like I say, it's not based on your colour, but we have to explain to people that the people of the book were a nation of people of colour. The Israelites that came out of Egypt were a nation of people of colour. They weren't Europeans, what you see today in Israel. They were a nation of people of colour. The people that they lived
Be
amongst.
under no illusion. 70% of Israel is brown.
Because of the sun.
because of I mean, if I show you
A lot
a
of this
Yemenite Jew or an Iranian Jew,
I know that. I'm not
these
debating
brown
that.
people.
I'm
This
not,
idea that it's a nation of Aryans.
Well, that's
is
all we see in it.
nonsense.
But that's all the world sees.
And also, you said it yourself. Jews in Europe were never considered white.
No,
They were
because
always
weren't.
browner and darker than
Because they,
everyone else.
because they actually were that colour. And this is why I say to that is that those that call them Ashkenazi Jews, they were from Eastern Europe. The majority of them.
But even the Ashkenazi Jews are not as white as.
You mentioned the Moorish persecution and Jewish persecution by Queen Isabella.
Yes.
They weren't the people that you find there today. Those people that were there.
Most of them were sold off in the transatlantic slave trade.
Yeah.
Those Portuguese, those Portuguese Jews, those Spanish Jews, most of them were sold into slavery. They were sent to the island of St. Tony, just off Africa, and Madagascar. That's where they were sent, and went to slavery. Some of them,
And many of them wound up in the Caribbean.
yeah, absolutely,
Because they went with Columbus on that expedition. And just
because
that's why there's got such a large Jewish community in Jamaica,
because
as
Columbus
you may or may not know.
Columbus brought Hebrew translators with him on his ship. Because do you know why he brought Hebrew translators? Because he knew that the Native American Indians were the 10 lost tribes of Israel.
Well, the other reason that there was that we are taught, or not we are taught, but the other reason was that there was Jews from Southern Europe found it very difficult to see any kind of future for themselves, and there were many roaming, displaced young Jewish men, perfect for the recruitment. To say, hey, we're going to go discover the Americas. What you doing with yourself? Oh, nothing. We've just been bunned out of Spain and and that was another reason.
But those Jews that you're speaking about in Spain and Portugal, those were so-called black people. They weren't those Europeans that you see today.
Yeah.
So you understand, that's who they were. The Jews in Portugal and Spain, they were so-called black people that were actual Jews that were there. They wasn't these Eastern Europeans that you see today that came out of Poland and
the interesting.
That's right.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is,
he came from Poland. He started the Zionist movement.
Absolutely.
So
And they changed their names. Remember,
Ben-Gurion
most
didn't
of
start
them-
the Zionist
Yeah.
movement.
who did?
Theodore Herzl did.
Yeah.
And that's political Zionism. Zionism is something that you find in the texts. Zionism and the reference to Israel, the Israelites, the land of milk and honey, the promised land, comes in the oldest texts out there. There's nothing more Zionistic than that.
I know, but we don't call it Zionism.
These guys don't call it that.
Because it's not in the Bible. It's a promise. It's a covenant and a promise that he gave to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
The idea that you got plenty of Jews nowadays that say, I'm not a Zionist, no, I'm a Jew. It's completely different to being a...
So
This is fucking bullshit. Zionism is core. I'm not talking about political
But
Zionism.
Zionists don't believe in the
They
Bible.
believe in the promised land.
They talk about a land for the self-determination in your ancestral homeland.
Yeah.
Self-determination of the Jewish people in the ancestral homeland. There's no mention about persecuting anybody else It's about self-determination in the ancestral homeland. That's it. That's what Zionism is. This idea that Zionism is Nazism is a fucking manipulation and a fucking bullshit that everybody's got brainwashed with.
It's not a brainwash. You have to understand, when you see a certain people acting in a certain way, it's just colonialism.
Yeah, 100%. But why do we
else.
not talk about? Why do we not talk about? Sorry, why don't we not talk about the Yazidis getting wiped out by? Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about that? By the Shia Muslims, bro. By the Shia Muslims.
They weren't Shia. They were the other side. They were
Sunni.
They were Sunni. They were what they call them?
No, they weren't. Not in Iraq. Not in Iraq.
Yeah, they weren't Shia.
Half of the Iraqi militias are Shia.
What did they call them again? They were dressed in black.
Islamic State.
Islamic State. Yeah, they were Sunnis. They're not Shia. Islamic State. They're Sunni Muslims. And but remember, Islam is a religion. It's not a nationality. I keep telling people, anyone can be a Muslim.
Agreed, but why do we not talk about that? Why do we not talk about 200,000 killed in Syria in the last year?
But who do you think started those wars?
No, that's not a get out of jail free card for Islam.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying you that it's the Americans that started that war. It's the Americans that created the Islamic State. They created this group. They created Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda come from the Mujahideen. The Mujahideen were trained by the CIA.
But the Americans are not the first. They're not the
That's what I'm saying. These are the
only people to adopt the notion of creating a militia within a.
It's like
that's
Hamas.
an old thing.
Who created Hamas?
Yeah, but they
Israelis.
perfected the art.
Egypt.
No,
Not
but
Israel.
it was Israel.
Not the Israelis.
They
No,
tell you that
that's not true.
they
Hamas was created in Egypt.
No, the Israelis created Hamas as a political party to run the Gaza Strip.
It was something that was encouraged to sow division between the PLO.
Yeah,
the PLO.
The Israelis created them.
Yeah, it's not that black and white, man.
No, nothing ever is, but I'm just trying to say that they did.
The idea
These terror
of
groups-
creating a problem so that you can come with the solution is called Hegelian rhetoric, which you know
It's
well.
called the Hegelian dialectic.
Hegelian dialectic, yeah. Hegelian dialectic.
Pressure from above, pressure from below.
But that's not the first time that was invented.
Of course not. I know
Hegel
that.
didn't invent
I
that.
know that. I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm just
It's
saying that
what man has been
I'm
doing
just
to
saying
one
that
another.
it's a colonialist tactic. They did it everywhere they went. The colonialists.
Yeah,
They
but
create
the
division and then they rule. That's what they do.
Yeah, but the colonialist tactic is something that's ingrained in humankind, not ingrained in the white man's psyche.
No, but the white man is the most dangerous colonialist on the planet. I'm not saying other nations don't do it, but no one's more dangerous than him. Are you kidding me?
The Muslim is the most dangerous.
No, they come a close second.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
They come a close second.
Say, okay, you don't believe in the Bible, right? But if there was a Hamashiach who is coming to restore Israel again to the rightful people, will the people living in the land now, according to Bible, according to the scriptures, would they be those people? If there was a Hamashiach still coming to restore that land.
You're asking me for a generalization.
No, I'm asking you just for an answer.
I'll leave that.
Based on logic and based on biblical, your biblical interpretation. I'm asking you.
I'm sure you don't believe they're the biblical Jews, though. Who? The people in Israel today.
Absolutely they are. People that have been practicing their faith for millennia.
Yeah.
It's not-
People that have been practicing their faith for millennia,
I'm not saying
wherever
that.
they have migrated to.
Yeah.
You don't have a group of people that come along basing everything that they
Everything's
believe
got
on
to
the
be
book and
Everything's got to be on the
suddenly
book.
say that those Jews that currently live in modern Israel are not the
Oh, yeah,
not
we
the
know they're
genuine
not,
article.
because
I don't bestow you with
I
that
know that,
privilege.
I know that. But we know they're not because Bible prophecy says they're not. But are there?
But that's why I refuse to be underpinned
I know
by
that. That's
Bible
why
prophecy.
I know that
Because
because
it's too dogmatic,
yeah.
it's too black and
But
white.
that's the only way. But that's the
It's
only way.
bereft of nuance.
I know, but
we live in a nuanced
it's the
time.
only way you can get out of saying that they are is by saying you can disregard the Bible, and I understand
that's
that.
the only
That's
way.
what I'm saying. That's the only way. But all I'm saying to you is that as well, what we do know as well, that yes, some of them will be actual the Israelites. That we can agree on.
Well, that will be my answer.
Yeah, some of them
In
will
the
be.
context of your beliefs,
But I'm telling you that.
I'm not going to tell you every single man by virtue of living in this place is not.
No, but what we do know for a fact, the majority of them are not. That we know for a fact. But some of them, yeah, of course you will. But that's what I'm saying.
You have no belief.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if you
No,
understood,
I don't have no belief.
no, you just don't believe in the Bible.
just
But I'm
don't
saying that
believe it, yeah.
according to the Bible,
I believe in the messages. I believe in the messages that
You
are
know-
to be extracted from the text.
Can I just bring this out real quick? Romans chapter 3 and 3, it says, "For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid. Yea, let God be true, but every man a liar."
that's fine because we can't. But there's no way we're going to try to persuade you otherwise. But what we can say to you is that going to the Bible biblically, we know for a fact, according to the Bible and all the prophecies of what was meant to happen to the children of Israel in these last days, they don't meet any of the prophecies. None. But what we can also say to you is that because we were scattered amongst all of the countries, we know that some of them will be. So a lot of the Sephardic Jews in Israel will be actual Israelites. They will go back to a lot of the Jews that were kicked out of Spain and Portugal, the Sephardic Jews. We can definitely say that. We can say
And a lot of the Jews that ended up in Spain and Portugal may have originally come prior to expulsion from Judea, from Europe.
No, they didn't come from Europe. They actually, when the Jews fled Jerusalem in 70 AD, 1.5 million of them went to Africa. You know why? You know where the biggest Israelite community was? Was in Alexandria, in Egypt. The most Jews that lived outside of Israel lived in Egypt and Alexandria. This is why the Lord was told, Joseph and Mary was told to bring the Lord to Egypt, to flee to Egypt, because the people of Egypt looked like the Lord. The biggest community. So when the Romans took down Jerusalem in 70 AD, 1.5 million, the majority of them fled into Africa and then eventually settled in West Africa because West Africa was not occupied. What was occupied was North Africa, was known as the Carthaginian Empire, and East Africa, we had Egypt and the Ethiopians and the Kushites, that's right. So they started off in Alexandria and Egypt and then they finally migrated to the West Coast and settled there for 1,500 years. Also, some of us fled up into Europe.
Are supposedly tribe of Dan, right?
They're not. They're some of the. You see, the Falashas are not the biblical Jews, but they will be actual Israelites amongst the Falashas. It's a given. The Jews also fled up into Europe. Remember, that's where the Apostle Paul went. He went to all of the 7 churches of the synagogues were in Asia Minor, what we know mainly today as Turkey. So they did fly up into Europe as well, the Jews. But those people, those Jews that we are talking about, were so-called black people, Negroes. They wasn't Europeans. But what I'm saying to you is that when you flee somewhere, you live somewhere, and you mix with other nations, after a while, you start looking like other people. But they did not.
That's right.
But they did not flee into Europe, and then they looked like the Europeans. They looked like so-called black people right up until the Spanish and the Spanish Inquisition with Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. Those people that call themselves Ashkenazis, they are Khazarians. That's who they are. They know that themselves.
So I went straight to your theory on the very first thing that I told you.
I know that.
Yeah. And in my mind, I didn't disprove it, but I gave you reason
To believe that they're not.
I gave you reason to believe that the basis of the theory is flimsy as fuck.
It's not. Because even your own scholars know that they are Khazars. One of your
Who
greatest...
are my own scholars that you speak of?
I mean Jewish scholars.
Yeah, but you're talking about a certain school of Jewish scholars.
Yeah, that you probably don't... You probably
that
disagree
support
with.
your narrative.
No, not my narrative. I'm just saying that...
Your narrative.
No. But even the fact that they call even the fact that they call
we all
themselves...
select the scholars that we wish to adhere to and pay mind to.
I listen to both sides.
But I don't hear you quoting any of the other scholars.
No.
Ultimately, this is our point of
Fair enough.
But yeah. But what I'm saying is that the fact that they call themselves Ashkenazis should tell you that they know that Ashkenaz has got nothing to do with Shem. But we acknowledge, we know they are Hebrews, and we know they go back to the line of Shem. They're just not the Hebrew Israelites. They are the Hebrew Edomites. They are Jacob's brother. You are, you would be our brother. So we acknowledge that. They're just not this. So this is why we know that they go back to the Khazars, because conversion has always been part of their thing. Even today, conversion is massive amongst the Jewish community. It's something they've always done.
Absolutely incorrect.
Oh, anyone can convert to be a Jew. If you marry to you,
there is no such thing as proselytizing within Judaism. We do not go out and convert anybody.
No. I'm not talking about going out and doing what we're doing, because we're not out here to convert no one. We're just out here to preach the word.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about if I want to become Jewish.
You just said conversion is a massive thing to them.
because you can convert. Anyone can convert to be a Jew. I can go,
but very few do.
No.
It's not a popular thing to do.
I'm not saying it is in that sense, but I'm just saying is that it's always been part of their thing that you can convert. It's always been part of their teachers that people can convert to be a Jew. What we're saying to you is that for you to be an Israelite, you can't convert.
Yeah, but bro, throughout the ages, it got you killed being a Jew. Yeah. So not many people did convert to being Jews, but many Jews converted to being Muslims, and many Jews converted to being Christians.
And those Jews were us. This is what I'm trying to say to you. There wasn't those Eastern Europeans that you see today that came from Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, all those places, Russia, and came to Israel today. Those Jews that you're talking about, what you're talking is facts, but you're talking about these were our ancestors that were being killed unless we converted to Islam, or we had to pay that tax during the Muhammadan days. We had to go for all of those things. Those were our ancestors. These were our people. This is all I'm trying to say to you. Those weren't those people you see today in Israel. It wasn't their ancestors that was converted.
Yeah, but there were many hundreds of years, if not 1,000+ years, of Jews converting to Christianity all over Europe.
Absolutely.
That when you say they are our people, I presume you're referring to your melanated state.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. People
These
of color.
men were not people of color.
Well, they were. The people that were converted.
There's
the Jews that were in Portugal and Spain.
Well, they may have been people of color compared to the indigenous Russian.
Absolutely were. They were people of color.
But like I said, the Jew was always referred to in European texts as swarthy, as dark-eyed, dark features.
Do you know what swarthy means?
Something horrible, I'm sure.
No, dark skin.
Yeah, dark skin. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because we were dark skin.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they were so-called black people.
Yeah, but are you talking about the Black Madonna?
Everyone knows about that. Everyone knows about
that. The icons that they had locked in the vault, but he released them to the world just the other day. Let's check it out.
But they are. The batteries are getting low. And,
what's the channel?
Children of Israel.
Okay.
All one word. 144 at the end.
Are you curious about the Demona sect?
No, because I know who they are. Where did they put them? They put them in Demona. What's in Demona? The fucking nuclear power plant. That's where they put them. That's how much they love them. They put them right next to the nuclear power plant to live.
Yeah, they haven't been without their discrimination.
Oh yeah, completely.
But you have to understand that the modern state of Israel was constructed largely by the European Zionist movement.
Of course. It's the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds signed it off.
Who were largely secular.
Yeah, in the beginning, but the ones that are coming to more power are the more religious ones in Israel.
Nowadays.
Yeah.
But largely, it was a largely secular group, pre-Rothschilds, by the way.
But not pre-Rothschilds.
Yeah, because
the Rothschilds signed the Balfour, Lord Balfour, the Balfour Treaty. That's what was signed in 1921. That enabled you to gain into the land after the Second World War.
Yeah, but there were mass migrations of Russian Jews and Eastern European Jews, mostly Russian, between 1890 and 1920.
The majority of people that
thousands.
Yeah, but even that's few. I'm saying the majority of people that lived in Palestine
but by the standard
were Arabs.
By the standard of the population of that area that was largely uninhabited. Yes.
Well, no, it was inhabited by Arabs. Palestinians have been living there for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but not just Muslims, Christians also.
There's two of
Jews
you
also.
now.
Yeah.
There's two of you now here at the end of the road.
Yeah.
Hello. I've always wondered what you're doing.
Preaching the Bible.
Preaching the Bible.
Yeah. The gospel. The good gospel.
There's a lot going on here.
There is. That's what's going on in the world. To give an understanding of what's going on in the world.
Oh,
I'll see you again. Yeah?
Definitely.
All right?
Thank you.
Have a good one, yeah? Okay. Are we going to shut up now? Oh, look.
I know, I got on the video, understand everything.
Hey, all right. We're finishing up now anyway. We're closing up now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I can talk to you without the video on.
Oh, we're closing up now. We're finishing for the day.
Can I talk to you for like a minute? without
Yeah. We'll close up. Yeah. We'll close up. Yeah.